Losing her mother at the age of 15 was a very tough moment in Bimbo's life. As an only child, her father, determined to ensure her happiness, went out of his way to provide for her until he remarried 2 years later when she was 17. Unfortunately, the stepmother didn't really like her, and she constantly laid false accusations about Bimbo to her father in order to create tension and hatred. During her final year in senior high school when she was 18, her stepmother convinced her father to let her drop out of school and learn a vocational skill just for 4 months instead of completing high school. Despite her excellent academic performance, she knew this wasn't about the school expenses. Her father had a good job, but simply wanted to frustrate her life. School fees had piled up, and she thought her father would pay, but he refused. Because she refused to drop out of school, her father stopped providing for her. When she came home for her last vacation and school resumed, he only gave her twice her transportation fare, with neither provisions nor pocket money. One day after prep, Bimbo stayed in class feeling defeated and alone. A classmate walked in unexpectedly, saying he left his calculator under his desk. He caught Bimbo crying and approached her with concern. From what everybody knew, Kunle came from a wealthy family, and his family's reputation and influence were evident in the way he carried himself with confidence. As they talked, Bimbo shared her entire story with him, and he offered to help her. Although initially Bimbo was confused, wondering how a fellow student would support her, eventually she accepted his help, which proved to be a turning point in her life. After some days, he surprised her with a big bag of provisions containing canned foods and other essentials. Initially, she didn't know what was inside. She decided not to open it in front of her classmates. She kept it at the back of her desk, feeling grateful and relieved. During break time, Kunle revealed that the provision is from his previous semesters, as he wasn't fond of sweets. On Monday evening, during prep, he handed her an envelope, and she felt nervous. Thankfully, it contained a substantial amount of money, which helped alleviate her financial burden. She used some of it to cover her school fees as she was in her final semester. When his mother visited, he introduced her to her as a good friend. Although Bimbo wasn't sure what he told his mother about her, his mother gave her a huge amount of money that shocked her to her core. As time passed, he continued to provide for her even more than necessary, and rumors began circulating that they were dating. Thankfully, Bimbo's good reputation in school saved her from any repercussions. After completing school, he enrolled in university immediately. Although Bimbo's grades were excellent, she had no one to sponsor her to the next level. Their communication remained intact, but he never mentioned dating. He helped her get a job in his father's company as a sales girl, which really helped her save money. She was 20 years old as at that time. When he was in his second year, he obtained university application form for Bimbo. Although she knew she couldn't afford the fees, he insisted. At 23, he finished school and managed his father's business. He promised to cover her fees using his earnings from the business and monthly allowance from his elder brother abroad. He paid her admission fees using his savings, so she used the money she saved from work to buy some essential items needed for school. Meanwhile, her daddy remained uninterested in her life. He just wanted her out of his compound. Fortunately, Kunle was living in a two-bedroom apartment near the campus and offered to accommodate her, which his parents were aware of. His mom in particular liked Bimbo. Bimbo was intelligent, submissive, and of course beautiful, which made his parents appreciate her more. His mom too did a great job. She was really supportive, giving Bimbo money whenever she came around, making things easier for her. However, they were unaware that their son was sponsoring her education. A few months after she enrolled in university, he asked her to be his girlfriend, and Bimbo agreed. However, he became excessively possessive, complaining about her interactions with classmates. As a class representative, she couldn't avoid her colleagues. Almost everyone in her class knew Kunle was her boyfriend, but he remained insecure. He would skip lectures just to keep an eye on her. Meanwhile, there was no skeletons in her cupboard. Just before his graduation, he proposed the idea of making a blood covenant. Bimbo was hesitant, feeling a mix of emotions, fear and uncertainty. He became upset, his eyes filled with tears, and he accused her of planning to dump him after graduation or cheat on him. For 2 weeks, he refused to talk to her or eat anything she prepared, even though they were living together in the same house. She became worried. Considering his support since her high school, she agreed to his wish. They made the blood covenant and he graduated. He continued to visit her regularly until she also graduated. It was then that he formally introduced her to his parents as his girlfriend, a role she had grown into over time. His parents didn't seem surprised. I guess they already had a clue. With their long history together, they decided to take the next step and settle down. The man who claimed to be her father gave his consent, and they tied a knot. It's been 3 years now, and Bimbo has been fortunate enough to find a good job. They also have a 2-year-old son together. Bimbo is now 26 and Kunle is 29. Glory be to God, they are both financially stable. However, Bimbo's life has taken a dark turn. For the past 5 months, she has been living in a state of constant fear and anxiety. Her husband's behavior has become increasingly violent, and she has lost count of the number of times he has raised his hands to hit her. Over any small misunderstanding, he will beat her to his satisfaction, apologize afterward, and yet still repeat the same behavior if she ever messed up slightly. This is not how he used to be, and Bimbo don't know what she have done to deserve this treatment.